Many people ask us about how Tantra can be beneficial in their lives. Hello, I'm Holly Rawson.
And I'm Brian Ahern.
After 40 years of marriage and raising a family, as well as coaching couples in the art of long-term committed relationship, as well as long-time students of Tantra, we're delighted to share with you how Tantra took our really good relationship into being an utterly fulfilling one.
So basically Tantra came and found us. We were at a period in our life where things were pretty chaotic. We had a loss of a loved one and we were just really ungrounded. And one of Holly's friends from a women's group gave her Margot Anand's book, The Art of Sexual Ecstasy. And Holly brought the book home and said, "Can we read this out loud?" And I said, "Yes." So we started reading. And each chapter, we read it and went, oh, that explains what just happened. We found ourselves in our experience to be one chapter ahead of Margot's book, and it was magic. It really, really got us on the path.
Mm-hmm. And we've been practicing ever since.
Ever since.
And one of the things that we recommend is the importance of making time at least once every week to really devote to yourselves. And if you have children, everyone lives busy lives these days, it's important to make that time on a regular basis where you find arrangements for your children, you turn off your telephones, your computers, and you make time just for the two of you. I would suggest a minimum of at least 3 hours, hopefully more if you can do it, every week.
And I had a reluctance to get involved with anything that had to do with religion, so I looked really carefully at what is Tantra. And it's an ancient path, a way of being in the world that really makes so much sense to me. I've been practicing psychotherapy for 40 years now, and Tantra really is the only organized path that I've come across that includes mind, body, and spirit. And so there's no right way to do it. It includes everything. It's a way to be yourself and bring yourself fully into this life. So, for instance, you can develop a sense of grounding in your body and a centeredness in your thinking and your mind, and then also a connection to spirit.
At the same time, for those who don't feel moved to follow a spiritual path, Tantra can be of great benefit, even for those who don't think in those terms.
Yeah, it's like yoga. Some people practice yoga without necessarily being on a spiritual path consciously. So Tantra is the yoga of love. Well, one of the things that we discovered in working with couples in counseling and therapy is that relationships go through stages of development. And a lot of times we get stuck in a particular stage. And Tantra is an excellent catalyst to keep the expansion going.
Tantra offers a wonderful structure of simple exercises and practices that you can do at home. We found that it's very helpful to get some initial instruction in Tantra. It's great to take a workshop, whether it's a day-long experience or a weekend. And as you might deepen your interest in Tantra, there are wonderful week-long experiences that you can have as well. In our work, we offer what we call two-on-two couples coaching. We love working with other couples and sharing with them what we've learned that really makes a difference in keeping love alive. You know, so often in our culture, people have a belief and an attitude that after the honeymoon is over and the early stages of relationship, that it's kind of all downhill from there. And we think that's rather a sad way to think about long-term committed relationship.
Yeah, relationships could keep growing. Relationships should keep growing. I call it the stairway to heaven. You know, just they should get better and better and better, deeper and deeper.
So through the simple practices and exercises that we learn in Tantra, we can really discover that stairway to heaven. And it really works. It's like anything else. If you practice anything that you're motivated to want to learn and to master, Even if you just give it 5 minutes every day, it makes a difference. And that's one of the great things about Tantra as well, is that even though it might seem at first like an esoteric something from the Far East that might feel very foreign to those of us in the West, it's actually a very Western-friendly practice. With just a little bit of regular practice, people find that they feel rewards very quickly. And then, of course, those rewards make it easy to motivate yourself to continue and deepen your practice.
It's also very feminine friendly.
Very
and
feminine
I think that's
friendly.
unlike many of the traditions that are popular that are male dominated. This is a very feminine oriented practice.
So especially around the subject of sexuality, which is often what many people think of when they think of Tantra. And it's certainly true that Tantra does include sexuality, because Tantra as a basic philosophy includes everything, all of life, everything we experience in our day-to-day lives. So regarding sexuality, it really teaches both men and women, as Brian likes to say, to stop having sex and to start making love. So what we offer in our work is, as I said, 2-on-2 couples coaching, where we work with another couple to show them some of these practices and exercises that they can then take home and continue their practice in the privacy of their own wonderful bedrooms or sacred spaces that they might design for themselves. And we also offer weekend retreat experiences for couples. And it's a wonderful opportunity. People love it. Initially, especially people who have children will feel, well, we could never get away for a weekend. We have too much going on. What are we going to do with the kids? And sometimes that can be a challenge to make those arrangements. But we assure you, it's well worth making those arrangements. Because after spending a weekend together, people fall in love again after, it doesn't matter how many years of being together.
It's beautiful to watch, too.
Beautiful to watch.
Yeah. And this sacred space that we're talking about, what is that? Well, in ancient times, there were two kinds of time. There's ordinary time and sacred time. And sacred time was where rituals were performed that really brought spirit into the culture. And what happened when we shifted into modern times is we stopped creating sacred space. So this is a reaching back and bringing up to date a practice that is sorely needed to keep us in touch with our spirits. Mm-hmm. And to do that, we'll often bow to each other, and when I bow to you as my teacher. Mm. And that makes all the difference in the world, because instead of arguing about who's right and who's wrong, I open my mind and open my heart and look for what is coming through my teacher that I can learn. And it's really transformed my life, and it continues to do so. And regularly, I come up against the block in a relationship, and my old tape runs and goes, this is impossible, I'm out of here, you know. And then it takes me about 10 seconds now. I go, wait a minute, this is a lesson that I'm co-creating with my teacher. And it's always, for 15 years we've been doing the tantric path, it's always been a very flowering experience.
A beautiful path for personal growth. And when we speak of Tantra as being feminine friendly, it involves this embracing of each of us as each other's teacher. So it's very egalitarian. That's one of the things that I very much appreciate about Tantra. And when we learn some of these ideas of the masculine and the feminine and honoring of both, and both are equally important in a balanced and healthy world, especially for those of you who are parents. I often like to express it in the way of thinking that the father and the mother are the hub of the wheel, and everything else in family life are the spokes that go off of that hub of the wheel. So when the mother and the father are in balance together and feeling good and close and connected, then everyone flourishes, everyone in the entire family and beyond into your community.